We talk about going into nature, escaping to the forest, as if it's a place separate from us, a destination we visit. We draw lines on maps, build fences, define edges between the human world and the wild. But what if this separation is just an idea, a story we tell ourselves? What if the feeling we get in the forest, that sense of peace, belonging, homecoming, isn't about arriving somewhere new, but about remembering something ancient? What if the boundary between you and the forest isn't real? This journey invites you to consider the illusion of separation between self and nature, recognizing the forest not as a place outside, but as a presence within, the profound interconnectedness that binds all life. If a quiet recognition stirs within you, a feeling of familiarity, come closer. Perhaps the return isn't to a place, but to ourselves. Bring to mind the image, the feeling, the scent of a forest. Perhaps one you know well, or one you imagine. See the towering trees, their trunks like ancient pillars holding up the sky. See the dappled sunlight filtering through the canopy, dancing on the forest floor. Hear the sounds, the rustle of leaves, the snap of a twig, the distant bird's song, the deep silence beneath it all. Feel the air, cool and moist, carrying the scent of earth, pine, damp wood. Now, turn your attention inward. Feel your own body. The solidity of your bones, like the tree trunks. The flow of your breath, like the wind through the leaves. The pulse of your blood, like the sap rising in the trees. Notice the boundary of your skin. It feels like an edge, separating you from not you. But breathe in. The air from the forest enters your lungs, becomes part of you. Breathe out. Your breath merges back into the forest air. Where is the real separation? Feel the ground beneath you, supporting you. Imagine roots extending down from your feet, mingling with the roots of the trees, drawing sustenance from the same earth. Feel the energy of the sun, warming your skin, just as it warms the leaves, powering the entire ecosystem. You are participating in the same cycles, composed of the same elements: earth, water, fire, air, as the forest itself. Let the idea of separation soften. Allow the feeling of being in the forest to shift towards the feeling of being the forest. Not just an observer walking through, but an integral part of this living, breathing whole. There is no edge, only connection. No visitor, only belonging. Rest in this feeling. The quiet hum of life flows through you, flows through the trees, flows through the soil and the air. It's one continuous song. You are a note in that song. You never left. You are simply remembering where you belong. Despite this potential for deep connection, our modern lives often reinforce the illusion of separation. We live in climate-controlled boxes, travel in metal shells, interact with nature primarily through screens or curated experiences. The forest becomes a backdrop, a resource, or a place for recreation, rather than our inherent home. This perceived separation creates tension. We feel alienated, disconnected, not just from nature, but often from ourselves and each other. We develop a sense of being apart, observers rather than participants in the web of life. This can lead to a subtle, or not so subtle, feeling of unease, loneliness, or existential angst, the ache of exile from our own belonging. The language we use reinforces this. Man versus wild, conquering nature, exploiting resources. This adversarial or utilitarian view objectifies the forest, turning it into something separate to be managed, controlled, or overcome. This mindset allows for actions that harm the environment, because we don't perceive that harm as harm to ourselves. Deforestation, pollution, habitat destruction, these become easier when we believe the forest is fundamentally other. The tension also arises when we do go into nature seeking connection, but bring our separated mindset with us. We might hike with headphones on, focused on mileage or summiting, ticking off a checklist rather than truly being present. We might take photos of the forest rather than experiencing ourselves as the forest. The desire for connection is there, but the habit of separation is strong. We might feel a temporary peace, a fleeting sense of belonging, but then return to our normal lives, and the feeling fades, reinforcing the idea that the forest is a place we visit, not a state of being we inhabit. This constant oscillation between longing for connection and living in separation creates a deep internal conflict. We sense our innate belonging, yet live as if exiled. We crave the wholeness of the forest, yet participate in systems that fragment it. This dissonance is a source of profound tension in the modern human psyche, the ache of forgetting we are not separate, that we never truly left the forest, because the forest is also within us. There is a story often told about the Buddha attaining enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. After years of extreme ascetic practices that failed to bring liberation, Siddhartha Gautama decided to follow a middle way. He accepted a meal of milk rice, regained his strength, and sat down beneath a large peepal tree, later known as the Bodhi tree, in Bodh Gaya, making a firm resolution. Though my skin, sinews, and bones wither away, though my flesh and blood dry up, I will not stir from this seat until I have attained supreme and complete enlightenment. As he sat in deep meditation throughout the night, Māra, the personification of temptation, delusion, and death, the embodiment of the forces that bind beings to the cycle of suffering and rebirth, approached him. Māra tried to distract Siddhartha and prevent his enlightenment through various means. He conjured terrifying armies, hurled weapons, sent storms and darkness. He also sent his seductive daughters, craving, discontent, and lust, to tempt him. But Siddhartha remained unmoved, his mind steadfast in concentration and wisdom. Finally, Māra challenged Siddhartha's right to attain enlightenment, claiming the seat beneath the tree belonged to him due to his own merits. Māra asked, "Who is your witness that you have perfected the virtues required for enlightenment?" His demonic followers roared in agreement, "We are his witnesses." Siddhartha, having no other witness in that moment, simply reached down and touched the earth with the fingers of his right hand. This gesture, known as the Bhumisparsa mudrā, earth-touching gesture, was a silent call to the earth itself to bear witness to his eons of accumulated merit, his practice of virtues, paramis, through countless lifetimes, all performed for the sake of attaining enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. The earth responded with a thunderous roar, acknowledging his worthiness. Māra and his armies were defeated and vanished. As the morning star rose, Siddhartha attained supreme enlightenment, becoming the Buddha, the awakened one. He realized the true nature of reality, the causes of suffering, and the path to liberation, all while seated in profound connection with the earth beneath the Bodhi tree. Note, while not a direct Dhammapada commentary story, the Enlightenment narrative is central to Buddhism and illustrates the deep connection with the earth. Relevant Dhammapada verse 153 to 154, the Buddha's cry of victory. Through many a birth in Sasra have I wandered in vain, seeking the builder of this house. Repeated birth is indeed suffering. O house builder, you are seen. You will not build this house again. All your rafters are broken. Your ridgepole is shattered. My mind has reached the unconditioned. The end of craving has been attained. Dhammapada, Chapter 11, Old Age, verses 153 to 154. Source: these verses are traditionally considered the Buddha's first utterance upon attaining enlightenment. The Buddha's enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, culminating in the earth-touching gesture, is a powerful metaphor for dissolving the illusion of separation. When challenged by Māra, the embodiment of the separated ego and its claims, the Buddha didn't rely on internal arguments or external allies. He turned to the earth itself. This wasn't just a symbolic act. It was a profound statement of interconnectedness. He wasn't an isolated individual striving alone. His journey was witnessed, supported, and validated by the very ground he sat upon, the culmination of countless lifetimes interwoven with the fabric of existence. The earth wasn't just a location. It was the ultimate witness, the silent repository of all causes and conditions, the ground of being itself. In that moment, the boundary between Siddhartha the seeker and the earth dissolved. His enlightenment wasn't achieved in spite of the world, but in deep communion with it. The tree provided shelter, the earth provided support and witness. His awakening was an awakening to the interconnected nature of reality, a reality where there is no fundamental separation between mind and matter, self and other, being and environment. How does this illuminate our relationship with the forest? It suggests that the feeling of separation is the work of Māra, the deluded mind that creates boundaries, claims ownership, and fears dissolution. The belief that we are individuals going into the forest is part of this illusion. The earth-touching gesture invites us to do the same, to touch the ground, literally or metaphorically, and recognize our deep, unbreakable connection. We don't need external validation for our belonging. The earth itself is our witness. The forest isn't out there. It's the living system of which we are an inseparable part. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, the very atoms composing our bodies, all come from and return to the earth, the forest, the web of life. The Buddha's victory cry speaks of dismantling the house built by craving, the house of the separate self. Enlightenment is seeing through this illusion. When the rafters of self-identity are broken, when the ridgepole of ego is shattered, the mind reaches the unconditioned, a state beyond separation, beyond birth and death as conceived by the limited self. This is the state of being we touch upon in the forest, a sense of returning to something vast, timeless, and fundamentally interconnected. We are not separate visitors. We are the forest remembering itself through human consciousness. Touching the earth, feeling the breath, sensing the life around us. These are ways of calling the earth to witness our own inherent belonging, dissolving the illusion of Māra's separation, and awakening to the truth that we never left home. Settle back into your awareness. Feel the points of contact between your body and the surface supporting you. Feel the gentle, steady rhythm of your breath. Bring the forest back into your awareness, the sights, sounds, smells, the feeling of presence. Now, consciously soften the perceived boundary of your skin. Imagine your breath merging seamlessly with the air of the forest. Feel the energy exchange. Oxygen entering, carbon dioxide leaving, participating in the larger respiratory cycle of the planet. Let the sounds of the forest, real or imagined, enter your awareness without labeling them as outside. Allow them to resonate within the space of your being, just as your own thoughts or feelings arise within that same space. Feel the solidity of the earth beneath you. Imagine this solidity extending up into your own body, a shared foundation. You are rooted here, just like the trees. Now, gently, perhaps even physically if you feel comfortable, extend a hand and touch the ground or a nearby plant, or even just rest your hand on your own body, feeling the life within. As you touch, silently acknowledge, the earth is my witness. Acknowledge your connection, your belonging. Let go of the need to be a visitor, an observer. Allow yourself to simply be part of this living moment, inseparable from the trees, the soil, the air, the life pulsing all around and within you. Rest in this feeling of non-separation. Notice any thoughts of me and the forest and gently let them dissolve back into the larger field of awareness. There is just this, breathing, sensing, being. One interconnected whole. Stay here for a few moments, breathing with the forest, feeling the quiet joy of homecoming, not to a place, but to the truth of your own interconnected nature. When the illusion of separation dissolves, even for a moment, what remains? What does it feel like to truly know, in your bones, that you are not separate from the forest, from the earth, from the intricate web of all existence? If we lived from this place of deep belonging, how would our relationship with ourselves, with each other, and with the planet transform? Carry this feeling of connection with you. May you remember your belonging in every breath. If this resonated, share this reflection with others seeking that sense of homecoming. Subscribe to continue exploring the path of interconnectedness. The forest awaits, not outside, but within.